So we have, for the solution, we have constructed this graph here, which shows our relationships graphically. And essentially what we're looking for is arrows that don't have the arrow on both sides. So one person knows the other, but the other one doesn't know the first one. Okay, we're going to be using what are called the array functions, and the first one, let's for instance take these names here, let's copy and paste them. And now what we want to do is we want to turn this column full of names into a row full of names, like this, automatically, so that if we have, well, on the side we have these names, we'd have those same names on the upper header as well. For that, we need the function transpose, which essentially, for a column, it turns it into a row. And we select the result, but we have to select the result all together. And now right equals transpose, parentheses begin, and now into those parentheses let's put this initial block, this column. Now we have to, in order to, instead of pressing enter in here, we have to press Control, Shift, Enter. And here we go. Here comes this formula. And when we look at this formula we see, yes indeed, up here we have the transpose, and this transpose is actually has actually got curly brackets around itself. So it's not the usual formula. And we can't even go in the middle and delete something from here, because it doesn't make any sense. This formula has been given for the array, or how to say it, for the entire block all at once. Okay, so here it is. Now we're going to do the second thing with this table now, also using the transpose function. Namely, if we are going to take this entire table here and transpose it, it means that what used to be here in the first row of the table is now going to be the first column. And what used to be the second row of the upper table will now be the second column. So that's what transpose does. It kind of turns all the rows, third row, into columns. And here it is. Now, let's select the entire table again. Let's leave it selected. Let's go and right equals transpose. Let's select the upper table. And once again, not press enter, but rather Control Shift Enter. Now, what happened to our relationship information? Let's see it like this. When we used to have a 1 in second row, third column, Jill John. Jill knows John. This, in the lower table now, is in the third row, second column, because kind of the rows and columns got switched. What used to be in the second row, third column, is now in the third row, second column. Okay, which means that if we take now two tables, here we have John Jill, John knows Jill. And here we have, as we just spoke, Jill knows John. So now, after transposing in the same places of the two matrices, we have the reciprocal relationships. And now, what we will do is, we will subtract the lower table from the upper table, which means that we will do John, Jill is 1, minus Jill, John is 1, and we should get all the zeros. If we get all the zeros, then all this information was the same, and everyone knew each other, so to say, mutually. If we get some disturbances, then we will have located the erroneous positions, or rather, the places where people don't know each other mutually. That's right. Equals upper table minus lower table. Let's press enter. Let's copy this for the entire column. Let's see how far we have to go. Yeah, this 35th is the last one we have to take. And now let's take this column and copy it to the right. And let's see if we have all the zeros. No, we don't. Third row, ninth column. Ninth row, third column. What is it? It's John, who doesn't know Hillary, whereas Hillary knows of John. So that's how it goes. We have just located our, we can say now that these relationships are not symmetrical, so we have located our asymmetry in this case. And along the way, we have learned how transpose works for columns and rows, turning these into each other, and we have learned how transpose works for tables, and this little trick to get to know whether the table is symmetric. And finally, with the benefit of the hindsight, we can really see that as those graph items were numbered from 0, and John is then number 2, and Hillary is number 8, we really see that between 2 and 8 there's a line which has arrow only in one direction.